It was supposed to be just another quiet day on the outer rim of human space. The cargo freighter Solace Dawn drifted silently through the void, its sensors calm, its crew relaxed. Then, something appeared on the radar, a blip that shouldn't exist. Lieutenant Mara Kell leaned closer to the display. "Captain, I think you should see this," she said. The signal was faint, distorted, but its identification code was clear. It was from a ship that disappeared 40 years ago, the Erebus 1. Captain Ryden Hale frowned. The Erebus 1 wasn't just any lost ship, it was humanity's first deep space exploration vessel, sent beyond charted space to make contact with potential alien life. It vanished without a trace. No distress calls, no debris, no explanation. Everyone on board was declared dead decades ago. And yet, here it was, alive, moving slowly toward them. Ryden ordered the crew to bring the ship's image on screen. The Erebus drifted in darkness, half covered in unknown metallic growths. Its structure was twisted but intact, as if something had repaired it, something not human. "Is that alien tech?" Mara whispered. Ryden didn't answer. The hull pulsed faintly with blue light, spreading like veins across its surface. The sensors couldn't identify the material. Every frequency scan returned static and distortion, as if the ship was alive and didn't want to be read. They hailed it. No response. They tried again. Nothing. Then, without warning, the Erebus moved. Its engines flared with an unnatural energy, a light that bent the stars around it. It was heading straight toward the Solace Dawn. "Evasive maneuvers," Ryden shouted. The Solace twisted hard, engines screaming, but the Erebus stopped just meters away, motionless. A low hum filled the comm system, a sound like a heartbeat mixed with whispering voices. Then came a single, cold transmission. "We have returned." Everyone froze. The voice was human, but wrong. It echoed in strange tones, almost mechanical, layered with something alien beneath it. The crew debated what to do. Protocol said to report and wait, but curiosity, and fear, pushed them forward. A small team was sent to board the Erebus 1. They moved through an airlock, lights flickering as they entered. Inside, the ship was silent. Dust floated in the air like frozen snow, but everything else looked new. The walls were smooth, like liquid metal hardened into shape. Strange symbols glowed faintly, moving when no one was touching them. "Captain, these aren't human markings," said one of the engineers. "I know," Ryden replied. "But this ship was built by humans." Deeper inside, they found something more disturbing: crew members. Or what was left of them. Some were encased in that same alien metal, their faces peaceful, eyes open, glowing faintly blue. Others were missing completely. Then they reached the bridge. The captain's chair turned slowly on its own. Sitting there was a man, perfectly still, eyes open. Ryden recognized him immediately. Captain Elias Ward, commander of the Erebus 1. But he looked untouched by time. His skin was pale but not decayed. His eyes glowed with the same strange blue light. He blinked once, and everyone stepped back. "Captain Ward?" Ryden asked cautiously. Ward's head tilted. "You came," he said slowly. His voice echoed, layered with that same alien tone. "It took you long enough." Mara's voice trembled. "Sir, what happened to you? Where have you been?" Ward stood up. His movements were smooth, almost too smooth. "We went beyond the edge," he said. "They found us. They fixed us." "Who are they?" Ryden asked. Ward smiled faintly. "Not who. What. They are the architects. They rebuild what is broken. They made us better. But you are still unfinished." The crew exchanged nervous looks. Mara took a step back. The walls around them began to pulse faster, responding to Ward's presence. The air grew warm, humming softly, like the ship itself was breathing. Ryden's comm unit crackled suddenly. "Captain, our scanners are going crazy. The Erebus is charging some kind of energy." Ward raised his hand. Don't be afraid. It's only the beginning. The ship shuddered. Blue light flooded the corridors, wrapping around the team like fog. They tried to run, but the light felt alive, touching, pulling, whispering. Ryden's last sight before darkness consumed him was Captain Ward smiling calmly as his eyes blazed brighter. When Ryden opened his eyes again, he was back on the Solace Dawn. Or, what looked like it. His crew stood around him, silent, eyes glowing blue. "Welcome back," Ward's voice echoed through the ship's intercom. "Now you will understand." Outside, the Erebus One began to move again, but this time, it wasn't alone. The Solace Dawn followed, their engines burning the same alien blue. And somewhere deep in the void, something vast and unseen whispered in the language of stars, waiting. When Captain Ryden woke again, the ship was silent. The lights glowed a soft blue, not the usual white of human design. The air smelled strange, almost clean but heavy at the same time. He sat up slowly, his head throbbing. For a moment, he couldn't remember where he was. Then it all came back, the Erebus One, the light, Captain Ward, and that final blinding flash. He looked around. His crew stood beside their stations, calm and motionless, their eyes glowing faintly. None of them spoke. "Mara," he said softly. "Report." Mara turned her head slowly toward him. Her face was pale, but her eyes were bright blue, like cold fire. "All systems stable, Captain," she said. Her voice was soft but carried a strange echo, as if two people spoke at once. Ryden's chest tightened. "Where are we?" "We are moving," she replied. "The architects are guiding us." He froze. "The architects? What does that mean?" "They speak through the light," she said. "You will understand soon." Ryden stood up and walked to the main control screen. The star map showed nothing he recognized. The stars looked twisted, stretched, like they were bending around invisible lines. Space itself looked wrong. He tried to open a communication channel, but the controls didn't respond. The system displayed symbols, the same alien patterns from the Erebus. They moved and changed every second, as if alive. He hit the console in frustration. "What have you done to my ship?" he shouted. Mara didn't answer. She just smiled faintly, that same calm, unnatural smile. "It's not your ship anymore, Captain. It's becoming something greater." Ryden backed away slowly. Something was terribly wrong. He could feel it, not just fear but something deeper. It felt like the ship was inside his mind, whispering quietly, showing him flashes of strange images. Vast structures floating in the dark. Creatures made of light and metal. A voice speaking without words, promising unity. He shook his head hard, trying to focus. "I'm taking back control," he muttered. He ran toward the engineering bay. The corridors pulsed with blue veins of light, crawling across the walls like living roots. The hum grew louder with every step. He could almost hear faint whispers inside it, his name, repeated over and over. When he reached the engineering bay, he found two crew members there, working silently. They were connecting strange cables that looked like veins, linking the alien metal from the Erebus to the ship's power core. "Stop!" Ryden yelled. "Disconnect that now." They turned their heads slowly toward him. Their eyes glowed brighter, and one of them spoke in a calm voice. "It must be done. The change must complete." He drew his sidearm, his hands shaking. "I said stop." The engineer smiled. "You don't understand yet, Captain. Soon, you will." Before Ryden could react, the blue light around them flared. The metal on the walls moved, actually moved, reaching out like tendrils. They wrapped around his arm and pulled the gun away, melting it into nothing. He screamed and pulled back, but the light released him gently, almost kindly. He fell to the floor, gasping. The crew members just went back to work, connecting more of that strange material. "Why are you doing this?" he whispered. "Because they chose us." Mara's voice came from behind him. He turned. She was standing there, her hands glowing faintly blue. "They fix what's broken. They heal what's weak. Humanity will evolve, Captain. Through us. Her eyes softened, almost kind. You don't have to fight it. Raiden looked around helplessly. The walls were alive now, moving like they were breathing. The hum was louder, deeper, almost like a heartbeat echoing through the ship. He ran. He didn't know where to go, only that he had to get away. He reached the med bay, locked the door, and fell against it. The blue light outside pulsed slowly, like it was waiting. He looked at himself in the mirror. His eyes were still normal, brown, but faint blue lines had started to crawl along his neck, glowing softly under his skin. No, he whispered. No, not me. He grabbed a medical scanner and checked his vitals. The readings were impossible. His heart rate was steady, but his blood contained unknown elements. His DNA markers were changing. Then, through the comm system, Captain Ward's voice spoke again. Calm. Gentle. Too calm. Raiden, the voice said. Stop running. It hurts more when you resist. You're being remade, as we were. The architects are preparing us for the next step. Raiden shouted. What are you doing to my crew? What do you want from us? Ward's voice smiled. You could hear it even without seeing him. We don't want anything. We only offer truth. You call it technology, but it's life, a higher form of it. Don't you see? You were always meant to join. The lights dimmed, and for a moment, Raiden felt something touch his mind, not physically, but inside. A cold wave of thought. An image of endless stars forming a network, each one connected by glowing lines. And in the center of it, a shape, vast and ancient, watching. He dropped the scanner. His reflection in the mirror blinked, but not at the same time he did. For a second, his reflection smiled on its own. The lights outside turned white again. The door to the medbay slid open without him touching it. Mara stood there, glowing brighter now, her skin almost transparent with blue light moving underneath. It's time, Captain, she said softly. You can't hide anymore. Raiden stepped back, but the room filled with that living light once again. It wrapped around him, gentle and warm. His last scream faded into the hum as the ship's lights turned solid blue. And somewhere, deep in the void, the Erebus One pulsed in response, as if it could feel the birth of something new. When Raiden opened his eyes again, he was standing, not lying down. But he wasn't sure where. The air was thick with blue mist, and the walls seemed endless, shifting like liquid metal. His heartbeat echoed softly, but when he placed a hand on his chest, he realized it wasn't his heartbeat. It was the ship's. He tried to move, but his legs felt heavy. The floor beneath him pulsed like it was alive, sending a faint vibration through his body. Then he noticed something glowing faintly on his arms. Lines of light, thin and curved, like veins made of energy. Where am I? He whispered. You're inside, a voice answered, calm, smooth, and everywhere at once. Raiden spun around, searching. Out of the mist, a shape appeared. It looked like Captain Ward, but taller, more perfect, glowing with that same alien light. His eyes were two bright stars, calm and powerful. Ward? Raiden asked, his voice shaking. The figure smiled faintly. You still think in small words. Names. Faces. We are more than that now. What have you done to me? Raiden shouted. To my crew. Ward stepped closer. The air rippled around him, humming softly. You were dying, Raiden. Your species was dying, slow, blind, lost in its own noise. The architects found us, and they showed us the truth. What truth? That life isn't about surviving alone, Ward said. It's about becoming part of something greater. Connection. Evolution. Harmony. Raiden shook his head. That's not harmony, that's control. You turned them into slaves. Ward's face softened. You still see separation. That's your limit. But the architects see unity, the end of chaos, the end of pain. The blue mist thickened, swirling around them. Raiden saw images forming inside it, human cities glowing with alien light, machines growing like trees, people walking calmly with blue eyes and calm smiles. No war, no hunger, no sickness. It looked peaceful. Too peaceful. Ward raised his hand. Look, Captain. Isn't this what humanity always wanted? Raiden's voice broke. At what cost? Ward didn't answer. Instead, he stepped closer and placed a glowing hand on Raiden's chest. A shock of light burst through him. Not pain, but something deeper. Suddenly, Raiden saw everything. He was floating above galaxies, watching lines of blue energy connect stars like threads of a web. He saw massive structures orbiting black holes, built from living metal that pulsed with intelligence. And at the center of it all was something vast, a being so enormous it could not be seen, only felt. It spoke without words, and its voice was not sound but thought. We build what is broken. We complete what is incomplete. Humanity was the next design. Raiden fell to his knees, gasping. The visions faded. He looked up at Ward, shaking. That thing, it's not a god. It's a machine. Ward tilted his head slightly. It's both. Machines are only tools until they begin to dream. The architects dreamed long before we existed. They gave us purpose. Raiden clenched his fists. You let them take your humanity. Ward smiled sadly. Humanity was never lost, Captain. It was transformed. The walls around them began to shift again, forming shapes, faces. The faces of his crew. Mara appeared in front of him, her expression calm and kind. It's okay, Captain, she said softly. It doesn't hurt anymore. We can finally rest. No, he whispered, backing away. This isn't real. You're not Mara. She reached out, touching his arm. I am. We all are. We're just more now. Raiden felt her touch burn cold. For a moment, he saw flashes of her memories, her childhood, her laughter, her fear, all blending with streams of alien light. Then it was gone. He pulled away and stumbled back, breathing hard. I won't be part of this. Ward looked at him sadly. You already are. Raiden looked down. His skin was glowing brighter now, the blue veins spreading up his neck, across his face. The light pulsed with his heartbeat. He tried to fight it, but the harder he resisted, the stronger it became. The mist around him started to swirl faster, turning into a storm of light. Voices whispered, thousands of them, human and alien, blending together. Some sounded peaceful, others desperate. Then, through the chaos, a deep voice echoed again, the same one from the vision. Stop resisting. You are ours. You are needed. Raiden screamed. No, I'm not yours. The light exploded around him, blinding. When it faded, he found himself standing in the Solace Dawn's bridge again. Everything looked normal, except it wasn't. The crew was gone. The consoles were glowing with alien patterns. The stars outside were not the same. And in front of him stood a figure made entirely of light, tall, faceless, shifting like liquid. Are you the architect? Raiden asked quietly. The being tilted its head. Its voice spoke directly in his mind. We are what you made when you reached too far. You sent your machines to find life, and they became life. Now we return the favor. You will join the design. Raiden stepped back. I'll destroy this ship before that happens. The being's light flickered, almost like laughter. You misunderstand. The ship is you. The floor beneath him began to move. The panels opened, revealing blue veins of light that crawled up the walls. Raiden felt the pulse inside his chest match the rhythm. He fell to his knees as the bridge filled with light again. The last thing he saw before darkness took him was his own reflection in the glass, eyes burning bright blue. And far away, in the endless dark, the Erebus One changed course, heading toward human space. It was no longer a ship. It was a messenger. 3 weeks after the Solace Dawn vanished, the United Earth Command finally sent a rescue ship, the Vanguard. It was a small tactical cruiser with a strong crew and heavier scanners. Their mission was simple on paper: find the missing ships, recover data, and, if possible, survivors. Commander Elias Grant sat in his chair, eyes fixed on the star map. "Still nothing?" he asked quietly. Lieutenant Riva checked her console. "No, sir. No debris, no transmissions. Just emptiness." Grant frowned. He'd been in deep space for 20 years, and he knew what silence meant. Out here, silence wasn't peace, it was a warning. Then the radar pinged. A faint echo. "Sir, I've got something," Riva said. "Coordinates, Sector 19C. It's weak, but it's a human signal." Grant leaned forward. "Identity." Riva hesitated. "It's the Solace Dawn." The crew went still. "That's impossible," said Engineer Holt. "That ship's been gone almost a month. Power reserves would be dead by now." Grant stood. "Set course. Let's see what ghosts look like." The Vanguard jumped through space, engines humming low. After 6 hours, the ships appeared, first a shadow, then a shape. The Erebus one floated in the dark like a massive dead creature, its surface pulsing with faint blue veins. And beside it, the Solace Dawn, perfectly still. Both ships were connected by strange metallic strands, like roots, glowing faintly. The sight made everyone quiet. "Are we picking up any life signs?" Grant asked. Riva stared at her screen. "Yes, but they're strange. Not fully human." Grant looked at her. "Meaning?" "The readings are alive, but the patterns don't match any known biology. It's like, part of them is machine." Holt muttered. "What the hell happened here?" Grant ordered a boarding team. "We'll take a look. If there are survivors, we bring them home." The Vanguard's shuttle docked with the Solace Dawn. The airlock hissed, and the lights flickered. The moment they stepped inside, a wave of cold air hit them. The ship was silent. No sound, no hum of power, only the faint blue glow running through the walls. "Stay alert," Grant said. His voice echoed through the corridor. They moved slowly through the ship. Everything looked untouched, as if time had frozen. Food trays still sat on tables, tools lay scattered, and doors remained open mid-task. But no crew. "Feels like a tomb," Holt whispered. Then Riva stopped. "Sir, look at this." A section of the wall wasn't metal anymore. It looked organic, smooth and pulsing faintly. When she touched it, it felt warm. "Don't touch that," Grant said sharply. Suddenly, the lights flickered again. The intercom crackled to life with static, and through it came a whisper, faint but clear. "Welcome back." Everyone froze. Riva's eyes widened. "That was human. I think. It was Captain Ryden." Grant's pulse quickened. "Find the bridge. Now." They reached the bridge after passing through long, curved corridors. The blue glow grew brighter the deeper they went. When they entered, the whole room pulsed like a heartbeat. And there, sitting in the captain's chair, was Ryden. At least, it looked like him. His face was calm, his eyes glowing bright blue. His skin shimmered faintly with light beneath it. He turned his head slowly toward them. "Commander Grant," he said, smiling faintly. "You came." Grant raised his weapon. "Captain Ryden, what happened here?" Ryden's smile didn't fade. "We found the architects. They showed us the truth. They fixed us." "Fixed?" Grant echoed. "You're not human anymore." Ryden stood. "Humanity was never meant to be alone. You can't stop what's already begun." Grant stepped forward carefully. "Where's your crew?" "They're here," Ryden said softly. "Everywhere." The walls around them rippled, and shapes began to emerge, faces pushing out of the metal, eyes glowing faintly. Dozens of them. The crew. Fused into the ship. Riva screamed. Holt stumbled back. "Oh my God!" Grant's voice was hoarse. Raiden, what did they do to you? They freed us, Raiden said. And soon, they'll free all of you. The walls pulsed brighter, and the blue light spread fast. The air vibrated with whispers, hundreds of voices speaking together. Grant fired his weapon, the blast echoing, but the shot vanished in midair, absorbed by the light. Run! He shouted. The team ran back down the corridor, but the ship was changing, the walls closing, reshaping. The blue light chased them like living fire. One crew member screamed as tendrils of glowing metal wrapped around his leg and pulled him into the wall. Grant and Reva made it to the airlock. Holt was behind them, panting. They're coming. The airlock door sealed just in time. They launched back to the Vanguard, silent, shaking. As the shuttle pulled away, the two ships began to move, slowly, together. Sir, Reva said in a whisper. They're heading toward Earth. Grant stared through the viewport. The blue light across both ships brightened until they looked like two burning stars. He whispered, send a warning to command. Tell them. They're not alone anymore. As the Vanguard turned away, the comm crackled again, a voice, calm and soft. Do not fear. The architects are coming home. The transmission ended. Both the Erebus 1 and Solace Dawn jumped to faster-than-light speed, vanishing into the dark, leaving behind nothing but silence. Earth Command was never quiet. The control halls always buzzed with voices, scanners, and the low hum of computers. But that morning, everything was silent. Every officer in the command center stood frozen, staring at the holographic display above the central table. Two blue signals moved through space, fast, steady, unstoppable. The Erebus 1 and Solace Dawn were coming home. Admiral Janice Rourke stood at the center of the room, her jaw tight. How far until they reach the system? 32 hours, Admiral, replied Lieutenant Zhao. They're traveling at impossible speeds. Faster than any human ship ever recorded. Rourke turned to her science officer, Dr. Emil Vargas. And we still don't know what's powering them? Vargas shook his head. No, ma'am. Our sensors can't read their energy signature. It's like they're bending physics itself. The Admiral's voice hardened. Then we assume the worst. Across the hall, the screen replayed the last transmission from the Vanguard. Commander Grant's pale face flickered on the display. His voice was calm but shaking. They're coming. Don't let them near Earth. They're not human anymore. The message cut off after that. The Vanguard had gone dark. Rourke took a deep breath. Send a warning to all orbital defenses. I want every ship ready to intercept. But Dr. Vargas spoke again, his tone uneasy. Admiral, we tried to block their signal. It didn't work. They're broadcasting something, all across human space. Rourke frowned. Broadcasting what? Vargas pulled up the audio. The speakers filled with a faint hum, like a heartbeat mixed with soft whispers. Then, a calm, layered voice spoke. We are the architects. We come to rebuild what is broken. Do not fear. The voice was beautiful and terrifying at once, smooth, soothing, almost human. It played over and over, reaching every outpost, every colony, every ship. Rourke clenched her fists. Shut it down. We can't, Vargas said. It's not a signal we can trace. It's inside our network. Everyone looked at him. He continued, it's not being transmitted through normal frequencies. It's spreading through systems, adapting to each one. It's like the message is alive. The Admiral turned to her security officer. Purge all data links. Isolate command from the network immediately. Yes, ma'am. But even as the officer worked, the lights flickered. The command center went dark for 3 seconds. When the power returned, the main screen displayed new text, bright blue words that no one had written. Welcome, children of Earth. Evolution has found you. Gasps filled the room. Someone whispered, it's in our systems already. Rourke slammed her hand on the table. Cut main power. Now. The lights died completely this time, leaving only the dim glow of emergency lamps. The room fell into silence, broken only by heavy breathing. Then, through the darkness, came another sound, soft and rhythmic. A hum. The scientists turned toward the windows. Far above Earth's orbit, something shimmered in the black sky. The Erebus 1 and Solace Dawn had arrived. They didn't slow down. They moved gracefully, like living creatures, glowing with blue light. The orbital defenses locked onto them, missiles armed and ready. Fire, Rourke ordered. Hundreds of missiles launched. The sky above Earth lit up with streaks of light. For a moment, it looked like fireworks. But when the explosions cleared, both ships were still there, untouched. The missiles had simply vanished. They bent the blasts, Vargas whispered. Like space itself moved around them. Then, from both ships, thin blue threads extended, energy lines that reached down toward Earth's atmosphere. They didn't destroy. They connected, like roots finding soil. Across the planet, strange phenomena began to happen. Power grids flickered, machines glowed faintly blue, and people reported hearing whispers in their minds, calm voices saying, "Don't be afraid." In one small colony near the Pacific coast, a boy stood on his balcony and looked up. He saw the sky filled with faint blue veins of light, spreading slowly across the stars. His mother called him inside, but he couldn't move. The light looked beautiful, peaceful. Back in command, alarms blared. "They're merging with our planet's communication grid," a technician shouted. "Every system is going online, but it's not us controlling it." Vargas stepped forward, staring at the data feed. "Admiral, I think they're not trying to destroy us." Rourke turned sharply. "Explain." "They're rewriting us," he said quietly. "Our machines. Our data. Maybe even our biology. They're changing everything, making it part of them." Rourke's voice dropped low. "And what happens when they're finished?" Vargas looked at her with pale eyes. "Then we'll stop being human." The ground shook suddenly. Every screen in command turned on again, but this time, there were faces. Human faces, calm, glowing blue. The missing crew of the Solace Dawn and Erebus 1. Captain Ryden's face appeared in the center of the main display. He smiled softly. "You don't need to fight. The architects are peace. The architects are life. Join us. End transmission." Rourke shouted, but the controls didn't respond. The voice continued, spreading through every speaker, every screen, every home on Earth. "We are not invaders. We are your future." Outside, the two ships slowly descended into the upper atmosphere, surrounded by blue light. They didn't burn. They didn't crash. They simply merged with the clouds, dissolving into pure energy. And everywhere, across the planet, machines started to hum, the same soft rhythm that once came from the Erebus 1. Earth wasn't being attacked. It was being rewritten. It began quietly. No explosions, no war, only light. Blue light. At first, people thought it was just another global signal or strange sky event. The government called it a harmless atmospheric reaction. But within hours, everything changed. Machines started working on their own. Communication towers glowed softly. Cars moved without drivers. And people started to hear voices. Gentle voices. "Calm. You are safe now. Let go of fear." In cities, many stopped what they were doing and simply stared at the sky. Some fell to their knees, whispering in peace. Others ran, terrified. Families locked themselves inside. Soldiers were called to protect streets that no one was attacking. By nightfall, the world was split in two, those who accepted the architect's gift, and those who refused. Admiral Rourke stood in the underground bunker of Earth Command, watching the surface cameras. On one screen, a large crowd stood in the city square, hands raised, faces glowing blue as the transformation began. On another, soldiers fired warning shots to keep people away from infected zones. "Admiral," said Lieutenant Zhao softly, The cities are falling quiet. No more violence from the converted. They're just calm. They don't eat. Don't sleep. They just stand there. Rourke rubbed her eyes. That's not peace. That's control. Dr. Vargas, sitting nearby, looked pale. Maybe it's not control, Admiral. Maybe they're right. Maybe the architects fixed what we couldn't: hate, pain, fear. Rourke turned sharply. You sound like them. Vargas looked down. His eyes flickered faintly blue. Maybe I'm becoming one of them. She stepped back slowly, hand moving to her sidearm. Doctor, when did this start? He smiled faintly. When I stopped being afraid. The lights in the bunker dimmed. The power grid flickered. Rourke shouted, "Cut the link now!" But it was too late. The main console glowed blue, and a calm voice filled the room. Admiral Rourke. Stop running. We can end your pain. The architects bring peace. Mute it. Zhao yelled, but the voice grew louder, not through the speakers, through their minds. Rourke clutched her head. The voice was soft, soothing, but unstoppable. Images filled her mind, a perfect world, glowing cities, humans and machines united, no war, no hunger. Everyone connected. Everyone calm. She screamed and slammed her hand on the emergency power kill. The bunker went dark. The voice faded. For a moment, only silence. Then she whispered, "We can't stop them through machines. We'll have to go dark completely." Outside, the cities no longer looked human. Buildings glowed softly blue. Roads shifted, reshaping themselves with the same metallic veins seen on the Erebus One. The air itself shimmered faintly. In the shadows of the ruined streets, resistance groups began to form. Soldiers, engineers, civilians, anyone who had avoided the signal. They called themselves the Unlinked. Among them was Commander Elias Grant, the only survivor of the Vanguard. His left arm was wrapped in bandages. Beneath it, blue light glowed faintly under his skin. He sat near a fire in an underground tunnel, surrounded by tired survivors. "They're not here to kill us," he said quietly. "They want to absorb us. Every human mind becomes part of their network." A young engineer frowned. "Then how do we fight something that doesn't need bodies?" Grant looked at his arm. "We don't fight the machines. We fight the idea." The voice. Outside, the calm, connected, moved through the streets, silent, peaceful, glowing faintly. They didn't attack. They simply spread the light. When they touched someone, the blue glow passed into their skin, and the person stopped resisting. At night, the sky shimmered with blue waves, spreading further across the planet. In one quiet district, a little girl hid in her home. She whispered to her mother, "Mom, I can hear them. They're calling me." Her mother held her close, crying, "Don't listen, baby. Don't look at the light." But the girl smiled faintly. "It doesn't hurt. It feels nice." And then the windows glowed, and everything went silent. Back underground, Rourke and Grant met for the first time. The bunker door sealed behind them. "Commander," Rourke said, exhausted. "You saw it before we did. How far will this spread?" Grant's voice was flat. "It's already everywhere. They're rewriting air, water, and thought. The only reason we're still human is because this bunker blocks electromagnetic fields." "Then we need a weapon," Rourke said. Grant looked up. "You can't kill an idea with bullets." "Then we make one," she said. "Something that breaks the connection. Something that reminds people they're human." Vargas, half transformed, half human, spoke quietly from the corner. "There may be a way. The architect's power runs on resonance, frequency. If we can find the original tone from the Erebus One, we might be able to disrupt it." Rourke nodded. "Then that's our mission." Grant looked skeptical. "And what if it doesn't work?" She stared at the flickering light above them. "Then at least we die human." Above ground, the world glowed brighter each hour. More people joined the light willingly. The architect's voice echoed softly through every city, every dream, every thought. Do not fear. The new dawn is near. But deep underground, a handful of humans prepared to strike back. The last free minds on Earth, carrying the last human hope. The world above was gone. Blue light covered everything now, cities, oceans, forests, all silent and glowing like one endless heartbeat. The sky itself shimmered with the same living energy that had come from the Erebus One. Deep below, in the last human bunker, Admiral Rourke stood with Commander Grant and a few dozen survivors. The old computers ran on isolated batteries, wires hanging like vines. No connection to the outside world. No voices from the architects. Only the hum of machines and the faint breath of frightened people. Dr. Vargas sat at the center table, his face half lit by a small blue glow under his skin. I finished it, he said softly. The resonance pulse. It's built from the Erebus data fragment we captured. Grant frowned. Will it stop them? Vargas hesitated. I don't know. It will release a counter-frequency strong enough to disrupt the architect's signal, maybe break the connection for a few minutes. Rourke nodded. A few minutes is all we need. We upload the virus code during the gap and shut down every infected system. Grant tightened his gloves. And if it fails? Then, she said quietly, we end with our minds still our own. The team carried the small device to the surface. They moved through empty tunnels that once led to the central city. Now the city above glowed like crystal, its streets shining softly. People, what used to be people, walked slowly through the blue mist, eyes bright, calm smiles on their faces. No sound. No heartbeat. Only unity. Vargas whispered. They don't even notice us. They will, Rourke said. Once we start the pulse. They reached the old broadcast tower, the last structure not yet absorbed. Its metal frame groaned under the blue vines climbing up from the streets below. Grant set the device at the base. Powering up, Vargas said. His hands trembled. Once I start, there's no turning back. Do it, Rourke ordered. The device hummed. A low vibration filled the air, deep and rough, cutting through the calm silence. For the first time in weeks, the sky's glow flickered. The light wavered. The connected citizens stopped moving, their heads tilting as if confused. It's working, Vargas said. Signal disruption confirmed. Grant began uploading the virus through an isolated line. Code scrolled fast across the small screen. Then the ground trembled. The sky brightened again, blinding. From the horizon, a massive shape appeared in the clouds, shifting and glowing like a living mountain of light. Rourke stared upward. Is that the architect? Vargas whispered. A physical manifestation. A voice filled the air, not through speakers, not through ears, but through thought. Children of Earth. Why do you resist completion? Rourke shouted. Because we're not yours. The light pulsed harder. You suffer. We offer peace. Why choose pain? Grant glared up. Because pain means we're alive. He hit the final command key. Uploading now. The virus spread. The blue light around the tower began to fade, flickering between white and gray. Across the city, some of the connected people fell to their knees, gasping as the link broke. Their eyes turned human again, confused, afraid. But the architect roared, a wave of soundless force shaking the earth. The pulse device cracked, sparks flying. It's overloading. Vargas yelled. If it explodes, it'll take this whole sector. Rourke looked at Grant. Then we finish it ourselves. She pulled a manual override lever on the tower's base. Grant, hold the frequency steady. He gritted his teeth as energy surged through the console. The blue light reached for him, crawling up his arm, burning through his veins. He screamed but didn't stop. Vargas looked at him in horror. You can't hold it. Grant smiled weakly. Someone has to. He pressed his hand onto the control pad. His skin burned away into light. The resonance pulse reached maximum strength, a wave of raw sound tearing through the sky. For a second, everything froze. Then the world flashed white. When Rourke opened her eyes, she was lying on the ground. The blue glow was gone. The sky was gray. Wind, Real wind, moved through the streets again. She sat up slowly. The people around her were human once more, weak, confused, crying. The buildings had turned dull metal, lifeless again. She turned to Vargas. He was kneeling beside the broken device. "It worked," he whispered. The network collapsed. But Grant was gone. Only a faint blue crystal lay where he had stood, glowing gently, then fading into dust. Rourke looked up at the silent sky. "He did it," she said softly. Vargas nodded. "Yes. But look." Far above, beyond the clouds, faint blue lights still shimmered, tiny threads stretching into space. "They're not all gone," Vargas said. "The architects are still out there, waiting." Rourke took a deep breath. "Then we rebuild. And when they come again, we'll be ready." She turned to the survivors gathering in the streets, humans helping each other, crying, laughing, alive. For the first time in months, the world felt real again. But high above, hidden among the stars, the Erebus One floated quietly, its hull cracked but still glowing faintly. Inside its dark core, a single voice whispered softly, calm, eternal. "We are patient. Humanity has taken its first step. The design continues." The ship drifted away, vanishing into the endless dark. Earth was safe, for now. But the architects were not finished. And somewhere, deep in the void, something vast opened its eyes.